Creepy, unexplainable videos can be found all across the internet. You could be scrolling through Instagram or TikTok and witness a terrible murder take place, or you could just find a video about a creepy looking witch in the woods. If you're into horror media, it might be difficult to tell what is real and what isn't. Everything that's fed to us looks real these days, especially with AI growing. Even before that, creepypastas were around whenever the internet was first booming, and that was an attempt to blur the line between reality and fiction. I remember scrolling through creepypasta.com and other websites that you would find these stories on and be asking, is this real? Internet forums would present horrific stories that would turn into urban legend at schools and amongst friends. I can actually remember myself recounting to my friends the creepypasta story of the dog's lick. I'll tell it at sleepovers whenever it was super late at night and we were all kind of freaked out. I should recommend that too. If you haven't heard of the dog's lick, go check it out. It is a great campfire creepypasta. But without further ado, today I'd like to take you on a journey through three pieces of horror media that have stood the test of time for a decade at this point. With that all being said, let's first hop into. In the summer of 2012, a photo was uploaded titled The Expressionless to the creepypasta Tumblr by TJ Lee. The photo displayed a woman that looks to be restrained in a gurney. This is a very unsettling photo that quickly blew up in horror spaces online due to the uncanny appearance the woman has. Fortunately for us, this is not where the story ends. There was a short description of who she was attached to the post. The post basically states that the woman arrived at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in June of 1972. This is actually a real hospital in Los Angeles. When she arrived, all she wore was a bloodied white gown. Most of the workers at the hospital didn't consider this to be an odd occurrence due to the nature of their field. People would typically come to their doorsteps in all types of situations. Blood was far from an anomaly. As hospital workers came to assess and take the woman in, they couldn't help but notice her wax-like complexion. Whenever I say wax-like complexion, I'm talking about her skin. She did not have eyebrows and lipstick was across her face very messily. It seemed as though plastic lined her face where you would normally find skin. Although she did look like a mannequin of sorts, which is clearly stated in the description of the picture, her face would still move and make expressions as if they were made of human skin. Once the workers began helping this woman inside, she opened her mouth to present a kitten. Yes, the story actually states this, that a kitten was presented to the hospital workers that were helping her out through her mouth. It's a part of the story. Now, I cannot tell you whether or not this cat survived the situation, as it is not further expanded upon in the story. So they get this woman inside and decide to restrain her just to be safe. All is well, she is cooperative until the head doctor arrives. He attempts to inject a sedative inside her when she starts raging out. She immediately begins shaking and violently attempting to escape. The woman then is said to have risen from the bed. This is kind of like levitation from my understanding. Then she smiles at the head doctor and he asks, "What are you?" What the doctor saw when this woman smiled was rows of razor-sharp teeth. They were so large, it was said that they shouldn't have fit in her mouth. Police then arrived and the head doctor turned his back on her for one moment, which cost him his life. She drove her teeth into his neck and killed him. As he was dying, she whispered, "I am God," into his ear. Others, including the police, tried to subdue this woman, but she overpowered everyone, killing anyone who dared cross her. It was said that what remained was a massacre. There was one surviving nurse that ended up dubbing her the Expressionless. She was never seen again after this. Now, I think we can all agree that the story is kind of fake and funny in some parts, but in 2012, when this came out, people ate this kind of thing up. You can find debates on internet forums that are basically trying to question the validity of this story. They're asking, is she a demon? Is she the devil itself? The author TJ Lee has since given interviews regarding his story writing process, and it's actually pretty interesting to hear about his life. He's a British wrestling commentator and manager who writes creepy stories for No Sleep and Creepypasta.com on the side. His first story was actually this, The Expressionless. This was pretty lucky because it took off after it released. I never personally knew about this story, but I know I used to freak out whenever I saw this picture. As stated earlier, the worst part of this photo is the uncanny aspect to her appearance. The uncanny valley has been talked about to death on YouTube, but I think there's a good reason for that. It works. Liminal spaces and uncanny figures elicit uncomfortable emotions due to the slight abnormalities presented in them. None of this does explain where the picture comes from. One Redditor did some digging and found out that this is actually an old picture of two nursing students training with a wax medical dummy. A photographer named Lord Snowden took it for his 1968 photography book titled Assignments. Whether or not this is fake, I have to admit that the photo is still incredibly uncomfortable to look at. In 2014, Pods Has H uploaded a video of a man in a vehicle late at night. It appears as though we were in a rural area based on the lack of light pollution or buildings. Through the grainy frames of this video, we can find a person in a white outfit, maybe a dress of some sorts. She is slowly walking towards the car, and it's obvious that the driver isn't having any of it. He backs up a few times while he flashes his light at her. This goes on for a while. They just keep on kind of going back and forth, and he keeps on kind of testing what she is. After a long 2.5 minutes of this, he approaches her closer with the car, and we can hear her scream as she quickly moves towards him. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I remember finding this video whenever I was younger and being completely terrified by it. This is something that lived in my head anytime I would walk outside at night. What made it worse is I grew up in the woods. So to me as a young kid, this was a situation that could legitimately happen as I'm driving down my driveway. After digging online, it seems as though no one actually knows if this video is real or not. Most people believe it is some type of prank, while others have begun calling her a witch. People online were also able to discover the language being used throughout this video. It turns out to be a dialect from Saudi Arabia. After looking a bit more into this, it turns out that the video first arrived on WhatsApp in 2014 and then was uploaded to YouTube by Pods Has H. There have been other YouTubers that have made debunk videos trying to dismantle the validity that this might actually be a witch. But I don't think that this video being deemed fake makes it any less terrifying. This has been used as an image around the creepypasta side of the internet forever. The first example of this picture being used is in a story titled, Don't Look at Mandu. The unfortunate part about this is that the creepypasta came out in 2018, and this photo has been around since at least 2012. With no real date known, or no original uploader known, discovering who made this photo feels almost impossible. Well, what is this photo exactly? If you look closely, it seems to be kind of a baby or a kid of sorts, with crazy looking eyes in a dark room. Many people online have speculated that this is a mannequin that was used to stage a creepy photo. Another plausible theory suggests that this picture comes from 2010's CCTV footage in a nursery at night. The eyes in this photo are obviously edited, and it seems as though a smile has been stretched across the figure's face. We may never truly know what or where this photo came from, but it has served as a foundational picture in internet forums and the creepypasta world for years. I know this was a bit of a light dive into just 3 pieces of horror media from online, but I hope it gives you an idea of everything that's out there. I remember growing up and being terrified by the Jeff the Killer face, which is now known by everyone. I don't know if there's one person who I know who hasn't seen it, even if they're not into creepypastas. I think these 3 pieces of horror media are also similar to that. You might have seen it even if you're not into the world of creepypasta. It just goes to show the impact that horror media actually has on the real world. This was a bit of a first dive for me into this type of video making, so please leave a like down below if you do want more of this and maybe some longer form content in this style. Also, I can't end the video without saying please check out Fear Talk Radio. It's also posted on this channel. It's a podcast me and my friend do where we talk about new horror media coming out. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching till the end. I do seriously love diving into creepypastas and other horror related things like this. So thanks. Go watch a horror movie.